took my sister. You took somebody who we will never wake up to again, somebody that her kids won't see. It's not about us adults. It's about her kids, how they gonna feel now.
She's living in what is described as a vacant house. How did she end up here?
He was controlling her, my understanding. He was controlling.
They're accusing you of being a killer, you know?
Most definitely, most definitely. I mean, everybody got accused. Jesus got accused, you know? Just a testimony of my life, you know what I'm saying?
The story of LaDiamond Myers isn't just tragic, it's infuriating. This was a 24-year-old woman with 4 children under the age of 6, pregnant with a 5th, living in abject poverty inside an abandoned house in Detroit. Let that sink in. A pregnant mom of 5 lived in a dilapidated home. No heat, no electricity, no running water, and no security. Just cluttered floors, broken dreams, and a man selling pizza slices like that was a long-term financial plan. Her boyfriend, Willie Wilborn, the father of her youngest 2 and the unborn child she was carrying, wasn't just broke. He was useless, dangerous, and as violently unstable. And yet somehow, despite it all, Diamond believed she was giving her kids everything they needed. She had moved out of her mother's home, arguably the last safe place she had, to shack up with a man who couldn't provide home for her and the kids, but would definitely keep his fists ready. Some say they'd only been squatting there for weeks, others say months. Either way, it was too long, because no child should ever be forced to live like that, especially not under the roof of a man whose only consistency was being a liability. This isn't just a cautionary tale. It's a harsh indictment of what happens when you try to build a family with a man who brings nothing but poverty, chaos, and violence to the table. Welcome to the American Crime Femicide channel. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for future uploads. LaDiamond was, by all accounts, a sweet girl. The kind of girl who loved family, smiled easily, and wanted nothing more than to love and be loved in return. While her classmates were planning college applications and trade school certificates, Diamond was daydreaming about baby names and strollers. She didn't dream of being a lawyer or a doctor or an entrepreneur. She dreamed of motherhood. And look, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Being a stay-at-home mom is a beautiful choice if it's a choice. But when motherhood becomes a substitute for identity, or worse, a distraction from brokenness, it becomes something far more dangerous. And that's exactly what happened here. By her junior year of high school, Myers had already given birth to her first child. Then came the second, back to back. Still, she managed to walk across the graduation stage in 2013, and her family celebrated with hugs, laughter, and pride. But when the cap came off and the diploma was tucked away, real life came roaring in like a train with no brakes. By 2014, she was a single mother of 2, no longer in a relationship with the fathers of either child. Enter Willie Wilborn, a part-time employee at a pizza joint that sold slices for $1. He wasn't climbing the corporate ladder. He wasn't even on the ladder. He made just enough to keep a prepaid phone working and maybe buy a box of diapers if you skipped lunch. This was the man LaDiamond chose to build with. By 2015, they welcomed their first child together, a daughter. Nothing improved. Diamond was still living with her mother, now crammed into a small apartment with 3 kids, while Willie occasionally stayed over between crashing at his own relative's place. The man had no home, no plan, no drive, but he had just enough charm and manipulation to keep Myers hopeful. Then came the 4th child in 2016, a boy. Another mouth to feed, another soul to protect, another brick in the wall of poverty that was closing in on her. By 2017, LaDiamond had 4 children under the age of 5, from different men, living with her mother in a small, overcrowded home, while still attached to a man who offered nothing but emotional instability, financial strain, and physical harm. This isn't shade, it's a wake-up call. Myers was drowning. She couldn't work. Childcare for 5 kids? Impossible. Food stamps, WIC, and public assistance only stretched so far. Willie wasn't helping, not financially, not emotionally, and definitely not physically. He was violent, abusive, controlling. Her family knew. They called police. They called CPS. They begged for help. But when you're poor, when you don't have bruises that show up on time, when your voice shakes in court, no one listens. Not fast enough. And Willie, this man wasn't just an angry partner. He was a predator, a convicted sex offender. Court records show he had previously been convicted of criminal sexual conduct. This wasn't speculation. This was a matter of public record. And yet, somehow, he still had access to Diamond, to her body, to her home, to her children. And like too many women who don't see a way out, Myers stayed. Or rather, she was stuck. Eventually, the violence got so unbearable that she tried to escape. Not to a shelter, not to a friend's house. No one had room for a woman with 4 kids. So she did what desperation forces many to do. She moved into an abandoned house. Yes, you heard that right. An abandoned, boarded up, heatless house in the middle of Detroit. No running water. No electricity. No insulation. Rats, roaches, broken windows, and danger lurking in every crevice. That's where she took her babies. Not because she wanted to, but because she had no choice. And then, because evil always finds a way, Willie came crawling back. After being evicted from wherever he had last crashed, he slithered back into Diamond's life like a parasite. And despite the fear, despite the pain, she let him back in. Maybe she hoped things would be different. Maybe she thought it was better to suffer with someone than to suffer alone. Maybe she was just too tired to fight. But things weren't different. They were worse. Neighbors noticed. They saw the kids playing. They knew no one should be living in that house. But what were they supposed to do? Call CPS and risk having all her kids taken away? Report a mother they knew was doing her best? So they stayed quiet, like too many of us do. Until June 28, 2018. That evening, a neighbor saw one of Diamond's young children walking down the street alone. She asked where her mother was. "She's sleeping," the child replied. Alarmed, the neighbor walked the child back home. She knocked. No answer. She pushed the door open. What she found inside was a scene that will haunt her forever. Myers, naked, pregnant, beaten, stabbed, was lying dead on a stained mattress. Her children sat nearby, hungry, dehydrated, too scared to cry, too young to understand. One of her sons, just 5 years old, would later tell family that Daddy said Mommy was being bad, so she had to go to sleep.
The thought of their mom, wouldn't wake up and they're trying to wake up their parent up is a hard thought to think about. They don't know what's going on. As kids, they think that mom just sleep and mom is in there dead.
I loved her and she loved me. She was always, very kind. She always had a smile. I've never seen her, upset or nothing. She was just nice. She was just a nice, friendly person, a nice, friendly young girl.
She had over 112 injuries on her body, beaten with fists, with cords, with a broomstick, stabbed in her abdomen, blunt force trauma to the head. It was a massacre. Her body told the story of years of pain and one final night of unimaginable horror. Willie was arrested a week later. He was charged with first-degree murder. The family wept. They clung to the hope that justice would prevail, that someone would finally say, "We believe you," that the system would do what it had failed to do all those years before. But the system failed again.
No other choice.
Killed my niece. He killed me, Your Honor. Oh my God.
Emotions boiling over just moments ago inside this courtroom. Judge Kenneth King says there is not enough evidence to bind over Willie Wilborn for trial in one of the most horrific murder cases in recent memory.
There is insufficient evidence to bind over on a first-degree murder.
LaDiamond Myers' body found naked in one room, 4 of her kids left in another room in late June in a vacant home on Braile in Detroit. What's clear, Myers was murdered in the most brutal of ways.
There were over 112 different healing injuries on her body.
Family members couldn't bear hearing such awful details that Myers was beat with fists, a cord, and a broomstick.
After the judge dismissed the charges, her family erupted in anger, not just at the outcome, but at the blatant failures that led to it. Police never collected Willie's clothes after the murder. They didn't interview the friend who let him use their shower in the hours after Myers was killed. Vital leads were ignored. Evidence was left unpreserved, and because of that, a pregnant woman's brutal murder was treated like a paperwork error instead of the calculated execution it was.
They should have dug deeper, for the simple fact is, I dug, and I'm not a prosecutor.
I hope and pray that the police were able to collect that clothing, because if this defendant did do this to Miss Myers, then perhaps there was some DNA on the clothing.
The prosecution had no DNA evidence ready, no witnesses other than the children, who were far too young to testify. They had nothing, and so on July 28, 2018, a judge dismissed the charges. Willie Wilborn walked free.
What do you want to say to the family of LaDiamond?
I mean, I want to get my sympathies out. I want to get out here, though, so I can go home and grieve, you know?
Do you know what happened that day?
So, like I just said, man, I want to get out here and get to my family, man. No disrespect. I want to get out here and get to my family, all right?
And then the unthinkable happened. Willie filed for custody of the 2 youngest children, the ones he helped orphan. The man accused of bashing a pregnant woman's skull in, stabbing her in front of her babies, and leaving them to starve beside her corpse, now wanted to raise the survivors. And the law couldn't stop him. Diamond's mother was raising the children, doing her best. But how do you heal from something like that? Her oldest son was suffering from PTSD. He'd drawn pictures of the murder. He'd sat beside his mother's cold body for days. He wasn't okay. None of them were. And then, on Halloween night, 2019, fate or vengeance or randomness intervened. A man wearing a clown mask walked into a Citgo gas station and shot Willie in the back of the head. Point blank. He died on the spot. The shooter, 19-year-old Draven Jones, was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. But the public didn't mourn. There were no candlelight vigils for Willie. No GoFundMe. Just a collective exhale.
A man is in line at this gas station at Grand River in Southfield. He was shot in the back of the head and killed. Police say the gunman was seen on security camera and was wearing a clown mask. Tonight, the medical examiner's office confirms the man shot and killed was Willie Wilborn. Sources confirm the man is the same suspect in the murder of LaDiamond Myers.
That's common that snuck up on you.
LaDiamond's sister says she would prefer the person who killed her sister to be locked up, thinking about the crime.
Think about it. Consequences. That you did what you did, and these kids said Daddy put Mommy to sleep. That's what hurts even more.
But there was a relief. The kids would be safe now. Willie would never hurt anyone again. Still, there are no winners here. LaDiamond is dead. Her children are traumatized. Her mother is broken. The justice system failed at every turn. And worst of all, this story isn't rare. This is happening in homes, shelters, and yes, even abandoned buildings all over the country. Let's tell the truth. Diamond should have made different choices. Yes, she should have stopped having children after the first, maybe the second. She should have chosen herself over Willie, over the fantasy of family, over the illusion of stability. But she didn't, and that's a hard truth. But the bigger truth? This society does not protect poor Black mothers. It judges them, condemns them, abandons them, and then acts surprised when they end up dead. She was a good mom, attentive, loving. She gave her kids the best she had. But what she had wasn't enough. Children need more than love. They need food, shelter, safety, a stable parent, a nonviolent home. And when those things are absent, no amount of motherly affection can make up for it. This is a warning. Do not have children with a man who cannot protect you. Do not lie beside someone who beats you, manipulates you, controls you. And do not bring babies into a world where survival is the best you can offer. Myers was a woman who wanted to love and be loved, but love didn't save her. It killed her. And now her kids are left behind to carry the scars. May they find peace. May they find healing. May they find love in a home that's safe. And may LaDiamond Myers rest in the peace she was never given in life.